What's up, guys? Welcome to another vlog. This will be part 2 of the Q45, doing the subframe, transmission, all of that raised, and more than likely going to be notching the frame that sits right above where the tire is, that of course hits whenever you try to go any lower than, well, your frame. So this is what I've been working on. This is going to be the trans mount because the OEM one will not work. Let me see if I can find that. OEM one compared to this one's obviously a lot thinner. It's 1/4 inch, just regular old aluminum. Granted, this one's aluminum too, but it is way thicker, and the issue with this is the new transmission mount, the 241, doesn't line up perfectly with these two holes here in the center. It is a little bit different. This one has 2 holes side by side compared to the 2 holes top of each other. These 2 bolt straight into the transmission, no issues, so that's good. So I'm just making the new one in order to have these holes, and I'm going to make clearance holes to get to these from the bottom. So go ahead and get to that. I'm going to use this, trace out lines, and then use this to get these outer holes cut into our new bracket. Alright, so back with an update. Got the whole plate made. I just finished drilling these last 2 holes. This one. I've tested everything up to those last 2, so we're going to be throwing it in and hopefully it'll fit. And there it is. So mount is in, everything lined up. I didn't have to change these holes at all. All in, all secured, nothing holding engine or trans up anymore. It is all free hanging by its mounts like it's supposed to. So I'll go over this, put a couple washers on each of these mounting bolts just to make up a little bit for the difference between this mount and the stock mount. The stock mount was a lot thicker, this one's a lot thinner, so figured do that. Did want them to bottom out and want to make sure they tighten down all the way. I'm gonna call it good. So that right there is a raised transmission, shortened subframe, and raised motor. So that is complete. And Logan dropped by today and dropped these off along with the camera. So got these installed. The just some 40Ks, probably way stiffer than what's really necessary, but doing it anyways. And I can't throw any of this stuff back in because we are going to be working on notching that right up there. You can kind of see where it likes to rub with the height that I was already at. So in order to go lower, that has to go. Probably gonna cut it out. I'm gonna pull the fenders off and I'll try and explain a little bit more general idea of what we're gonna do once everything's off.
Ooh, baby, I love the way every day. Holy alignment. Look, basically turn it. Welcome back to the vlog. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first part of the vlog with Charlie Bear, and well, he took over the vlog for that day. So we are finally heading over to his house. I gotta drop off
waiting for pairing
a whole bunch of merge packs. Charlie Bear, of course, that boy is supporting. He's the biggest order in the entire drop. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm gonna go drop off these shirts and packages and stickers so that you guys can get your stuff ASAP. Everybody that supported on the drop, I appreciate it heavy. There was a lot of orders and a lot of people that ordered in all different states, so that's super cool that you guys supported that. And I did throw in some extra stickers and stuff for some of the orders just at random to say thank you, because you guys are the reason why I'm gonna keep doing drops. So we are heading to Charles today. We're gonna go box, I think, the front of this frame, put the rest of the suspension on, and finally get the car back on the roads. Crocs. And upon arrival, Charles already had the fender off yesterday, so we're getting rid of all this bracketry, holding up the harness, and deciding the best bet. So what we're thinking is this needs to be trimmed up anyways. So we'll probably trim it to where it's cut, trim it probably just on the underside of, I guess, where the self tapper is, come around and then just kind of follow the wheel well. And then as for underneath, I think the game plan is just to cut here as a box, cut here as a box, and then around here. Basically cut that whole box out and then like C-notch it, box it in, but inverted compared to what it is right now. So instead of hanging down, it'll be cut. We'll put 2 plates on the side and then 1 on the top, close everything off, and then hopefully have a full another inch to go. But with the tire and the lip, you know, needing to turn and stuff, that's what we're cutting and trimming this up with. So this side will be the easy side to show you guys. That side, not so much because it's up against that. But yeah, we're gonna get started. Use that dreaded cutoff wheel that Charlie Bear is so scared of. And hopefully no blown up blades.
You already juiced it. Time to cut a finger off.
Pretty much just yeah, pretty much just out here I'm finna Charles explain to them what you're doing. I need my protection, bro, and I'm just watching the camera from the side. This boy is angling literally straight at me.
More flat, you know?
Felt that, felt that.
Where's your agua?
Mine? Bring your own, dude.
Charles, you got any beverages?
Ask Charles, water ain't free, bruh.
You got any beverages that aren't that sink beverage?
Chop chop, frame is gone. We did cut a little bit higher on the inside than we wanted to, but we will make up with that with a plate. So you can see that this side is a little bit thicker compared to thinner. We took his brand new R34 box, R34 transmission box, made a template, and then put it up there, cut out where we needed to, put it on some metal. This is 16 gauge, so I think it's yeah, 16 gauge. So we're using this. We'll probably put it all the way up there, just like that. It is pretty flat, and then this will be the base for us to weld not only the sides but the bottom and top plate. So once this is up there, there'll be one plate that goes all the way across flat, and then we'll make 2 side plates to box everything in. So I'm gonna get this tacked up, and then we'll start making the other plates. The past like hour and a half, it's hard to tell, but it's been like monsooning. It's kind of nice in the garage though. This is pulling in all of like the rainy kind of cold air, so actually not sweating in here like we usually do, so can't complain. But Charles started cutting the other side, and we kind of finished up on this side. Bada bing, bada boom. So what we did is we made one backing plate that went all the way on the back, as a backing plate should be. Tacked that up, and then made full plates that go all the way up on both sides. So those are up in there. Poopy welds, a little bit hard to get up in there, and it's dirty material, and it's super thick material to thin. So it's pretty hard to get all the way through. All of these, nothing went through. One tiny little hole that I'll probably end up patching, but you can see the heat fully transferred. And then we also put a wet rag on the back side of the frame just to block heat from going into the fuse box. But yeah, really that's about it. Everything's kind of boxed in. You could make one piece that went all the way from this side to this side, but I don't really think that is necessary. It's all boxed in and pretty structural. So we'll see how it is over the next couple weeks, I guess, but we're gonna do the other side, cut that up, probably make it a bit neater. A couple of these spots and stuff that have ugly welds through, 100% penetrated. You can see all the heat circles around them and stuff. It's just kind of hard doing really thick to really thin metal, but we're making it work and doing it as correct as we can so that you guys could do it, you know, the same at home. But yeah. That tire is basically right where we might have to trim up a little bit on these boxed areas, but for the most part, he'll be on super stiff springs anyways. Yeah. So it's like by the time you touch the top, you just touch the sides or what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Very nice. We are done with the driver's side. Way better. Learned a lot. Tacked all the way up on the top of all of that jazz and finished. So we are done. Charles is clearancing and probably gonna clean this up, maybe paint it a little bit, but he's got to clearance all of this on the other side. Well, that's what he's finishing, and then he's got to do it on this side as well. So that is the plan. I am going with Tyler. We are going to do some stuff, and then potentially going to be coming back either tonight or tomorrow morning. We'll finish up this vlog and of course get it out to you guys sooner than later. So if you didn't, go back and watch how we shortened this front subframe. Easy, super simple. Didn't go over the top like 95% of these other people. Moved the pan, moved the engine, moved the trans, moved everything up so much compared to, you know, some of the other hack jobs you could do. But anyways, this side is done and boxed in. The other side is done. Charles is gonna finish up trimming some of this stuff. We'll show you the other side, and then fenders go on and suspension. Then the car is done, ready to be on the ground and rolled out of the shop. This is the trimming I'm talking about. This used to be like a full triangle, kind of came all the way up here, out, and then you know, blocked in, but that had to be trimmed. Decided to leave the entire piece instead of just cutting it completely out, just because it does have these heat spot welds and holds the top and the bottom, so why not just have another connecting piece. This might have to get trimmed up a little bit. It did clear, okay, sick. And then some of this was just banged back a little bit, but yeah.
That side is a little bit more. This is basically all it's gonna get out of it without beating the fuse box just away or grinding.
Oh,
this
sick.
down
So you did
far.
bang this already?
A little bit, yeah. It's probably so close to full lock going that way, I'd sacrificing some turning radius for, you know, tucking the wheel all the way in.
Amazing. And you are now on 40 Ks in the front. So
Never been that high.
hopefully that will stop him from rubbing and hitting. Obviously make another bracket to hold this stuff up. And yeah, the camera's gonna stay with Charlie Bear, so he can finish out at least some of this vlog, show what he got a clearance, make sure all the suspension fits, and then throw the fenders on.
I hope it fits.
Because once you throw the fenders on, the only thing we were thinking is on a stock suspension or aftermarket, but stock, you know, subframes and such, the upper control arm goes up quite a bit, right? And so, oh yeah, lower control arm. And so when you shorten the subframe, everything moves up. The top of the suspension stays the same, so that would mean that the lower control arm goes flat again. And it did go pretty close to flat. You guys can kind of see, but it looks like it pushed the wheel out just a little bit. So luckily he does have the spacer and can go a little bit smaller on the spacer if need be, because he has a little bit of barrel clearance. So we will try that out, I guess, or you'll try that out on the fenders.
I think we'll be good.
And we'll go from there. So Ty put in hell of a work today. We appreciate you.
It really made sure that frame was working.
I do this shit You know me. We're just out here.
You know me.
I don't know, bro. It just.
Have fun with Charles. Hopefully he's nice to you guys.
All right, we're back. Logan left probably, I don't know, 2 hours ago. And since he's left, I've been putting everything back together. Suspension is all tight. Threw some paint over anything that we cut or welded on, just to make sure it doesn't rust, because, you know, want it to last. I'd rather not have my car rusting out. This thing doesn't rust anywhere else except for the sunroof, typical Q45. But this is the result. So, as you guys can see, got a little bit of front tuck now. Granted, you know, might look like more if, you know, car is lower and not at eye level, but gotta work on the fitment. It's pretty decent. I just have had to throw on a 1/2-inch slip-on. The fat spacers that I had didn't work, so threw on the slip-ons just to take the tire off of the spring, I believe is what it was hitting. Either way, tire was hitting, slip-on, fixed it, no issue. Could be a little bit tighter, but it's already pretty close. I mean, right about a finger, maybe a little bit slack, but it is quite literally on the ground. See if I can get it to focus there. Of course, it's not going to want to cooperate, but get a flashlight. And yeah, so I can't quite get this level, but it is pretty much on the floor. The rear is on the floor. It's pretty much touching. And same thing on both sides. This side maybe not. Hard to tell. Once again, I can't perfectly get level, but this is how she sits. Pretty good. Front bumper is, you know, good. Maybe 2 fingers, a little less. So that right there is a Q45 with a raised subframe, raised transmission, raised engine, and notched, I guess, tube frame, box frame, whatever you want to call that. Sits above the tire. Everything out of the way and raised. There's a little bit of a front view. Can't quite see where that lip is. It's one of those. Wish I had a color match, but I don't. That. I think camber is probably about the same. If anything, it definitely pushed the wheel out a little bit more, so maybe I have, I don't know, a hair more camber, but final result right there. I think I'm done for tonight. It's probably where I'm stopping. Probably mess with the height a little bit tomorrow, play around with that, and then I will be throwing some Swifts on the rear too. I only have 18. I had 18 front and I have 16 in the rear right now. Going to be throwing a 32, I believe. Picked them up from Nev, so shout out Nev, appreciate that. Gonna be throwing those on, seeing if maybe, just maybe, I can squeeze a little bit more out of the rear. Granted, doesn't look like I'm going to be able to since it is already on the floor, so might just have to leave that as is. But yeah, back tomorrow and hopefully she'll be driving. Got it unstuck, but here's the issue. It's stuck again on grass, so yeah, I guess that's, I don't know, I got nothing. So I think I'm going to go grab the side-by-side and throw it in neutral and try and pull it back if I can get to the toe points, which by the looks of it should be able to. Shouldn't be an issue, but you know, I don't have the yard for this, and I got the car for it, but I don't have the yard for it. I don't even know, should be able to get up on that slab. I'm not sure. It's honestly probably about the same lip, maybe a little less than what I got stuck on the first time. To do that, I didn't get it on film because honestly I didn't know how it was gonna go, but got on the wood and basically just sent it. In the process, almost ripped off my bumper. So got a nice little fix I gotta do because almost ripped it off. I just tied it up for now, temporary. This is obviously the side with no fender. For clearance, you can see I have plenty. Although that right there is a little questionable, so probably going to grind some of that down up here for miles until I turn. So that's going to have to be cut, or not cut, but at least grind it down a little bit, and smoking off all of that extra fluid that leaked out. But so plans changed. Worst case scenario, I go get the side by side, but as of right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and swap the rear springs where it sits. It's in the grass. Honestly, the back's picked up a little bit right now because it's stuck because it's uneven right here. So back's a little bit up. I can get the jack under it easy enough. I already pulled out some stuff. It's in the way. Just got to pull out that rear trim piece. Obviously, jack up the car. There's 2 bolts for the top hat, 1 bolt on the bottom. Drop the coils. I'll probably do both sides, honestly. Drop both sides at the same time if I can get them both up in the air and get that done. Here she sits after a long night stuck in the grass. We're back and we are getting ready to start pulling this thing out of the yard, hopefully onto the road. Got dark last night, decided to stop, figured get back at it in the morning. Just using the side-by-side tow hook under there. And yeah, I'll record the process and we'll get started soon. Driving. Getting out of my driveway was probably not the most fun thing, but I don't think I'm going to be putting it back in the driveway just because I don't feel like getting stuck in my yard again. Oh, but we are out here. Honestly, it doesn't really drive too bad. Feels a little bit bouncy, but nothing crazy. So far, no rubbing. My alignment is way out, but seems to be driving pretty good. I only have 2 lug nuts on per wheel right now, so I'm definitely get done with this drive, probably head back home, throw on some more lugs, maybe the rest of them, and go test it out at a little bit of a higher speed. Definitely rub a little bit when turning. We'll definitely need to look into where that's hitting, so either I can clearance it or figure that out. Maybe I'll start running a 35 sidewall. I don't have that much tilt. Everything should be fine, so I could run 35 sidewall just for more clearance. But all in all, I'd say it's pretty good. deployment, so you know it's a little unsteady. But honestly, this thing drives great. Hit the road a little bit, nothing crazy, but hey, she's solid. All right, so to put an end to things, just after the test drive, currently out here with the car, still in one piece, so I'd say we're pretty good. And just wanted to give a shout out to Logan. His merch, super comfy, super dope design. If you haven't bought one, you missed out. So got the car, it is done. This will be the end. Maybe we'll do more to it in the future, not sure. Honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks, but you know how that is. Never satisfied, always gotta change something. So on that note, check out the little slap right there. Octane zip ties. You know what it is. So on that note, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, and look out for more content. I'll catch you guys in the next video.